Did you know that the most tired, resentful, and unhappy elderly people are not those who live alone? On the contrary, they are people with very crowded circles and families. They are still people who try to be everything for everyone, who host every holiday, who attend every event, who say yes to every request, and who slowly lose themselves in this process. This loss is very painful. If you are over 70 and feel trapped by family expectations, social obligations, and the pressure to make everyone happy, this video will set you free. When you watch it to the end, you will see how much there is of you in it. I am sharing the story of 80-year-old grandmother Barbara from Scottsdale, Arizona. You may feel as if you know her. She spent most of her life as the family matriarch, the best host, the woman everyone could rely on. She was completely such a person anyway. 3 years ago, when her husband died, she made 7 decisions that shocked her family, disappointed some friends, but gave her the most peaceful, joyful years of her life. What you will hear about how she did it will surprise you very much. These are not selfish choices. They are survival strategies. They are about taking back your time, your energy, and your right to live your 80s on your own terms. Achieving this seems difficult, but you will understand once you listen to it all. Stay until the end, because the last truth changes everything. Now let's begin. First truth. I stopped hosting Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. For 35 years, Barbara hosted Thanksgiving dinner every year. What a long time, isn't it? Almost the entire life of a middle-aged person. 20 to 25 people would crowd into her house in Scottsdale. Her 3 children, their spouses, her 7 grandchildren, her sister's family, a few neighbors who had nowhere else to go. When you say them all one by one, it seems like so much, doesn't it? She would start planning in October, go shopping a week before, and cook for 3 days. Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, 3 types of pies, special meals for picky eaters, vegetarian option, gluten-free requests, incredible effort and labor. Moreover, she would do all of these with restaurant-level precision. She would serve everyone exactly as they wanted. What about Christmas? Even bigger. Christmas Eve dinner, Christmas morning brunch, preparing the entire setting, everything like when to call whom. Her house was always the meeting place, the center of the family universe. As if she had to, people expected this. This was what Grandma Barbara did. After all, she had to do it, because everyone was used to it that way. But after her husband George died 3 years ago, everything felt very different. She always missed him on special days. George would always help. He would set up the tables, carve the turkey, entertain people. George was a perfect person. Without him, Barbara was doing everything alone. And doing these things alone had exhausted her very much. The breaking point came on Thanksgiving after the year George died. Barbara cooked for 3 days. Her back hurt from standing. Doing these things was painful now. After all the chopping and stirring, the meal was flaming hot. Perfect meals, desserts, and appetizers were ready. 23 people came. They ate for 45 minutes, left the kitchen a disaster area, and by 7 p.m., they had left to catch Black Friday sales or watch football at home. They did nothing, and they helped with no cleaning. They had acted very thoughtlessly. She hadn't expected this much. Barbara stood in her destroyed kitchen, 78 years old, crying over a sink full of dishes, and thought, I can't do this anymore. She didn't have the strength left to do it anyway. Her power was not enough anymore, and she didn't do it. That December, Barbara sent a group message to the family. I won't be hosting Christmas this year. Let's start a new tradition. Someone else can host, or we can go to a restaurant, or everyone can celebrate at their own homes. If someone else plans it, I'm happy to attend, but I'm tired of being the host. She had reservations while sending this message, but after what happened last, she was determined and did it. The reaction was immediate and ugly. Her daughter-in-law characterized her as selfish, as if she herself had done all these troubles before she could say this. Her son said she was ruining Christmas. Her grandchildren's heads were confused. But Grandma, you always do Christmas, one of her daughters cried, saying that Barbara was abandoning family traditions and disrespecting George's memory. What right did she have to say this? What audacity was this? They had forgotten what was done at the last Christmas. Barbara stood firm. I love you all, but I'm 80 years old. I've been hosting for 35 years. I'm tired. This is not up for negotiation, she said. Although hearing these things enveloped them, they had to accept. That Christmas, Her youngest daughter reluctantly hosted. She would taste how challenging a thing it was. It was chaotic. The food was so bad that all the guests who came complained. Among themselves, they were talking about how it might be the worst meal they had eaten in American history. But Barbara sat at the table as a guest, ate someone else's food, and left 2 hours later without washing a single dish. She had done as they had done for 35 years. It was the best Christmas she had spent in years. Everyone had understood how great the effort given to the family meal they had been having for years was. The conversations they had among themselves were about how difficult things Barbara had actually accomplished. Now, looking back at all that time that passed, the family adjusted after 3 years. All their loved ones had gotten used to this now. They take turns hosting or go to restaurants. Family members who understood the difficulty of hosting were making restaurant reservations. Barbara attends when she feels like it, stays home when she doesn't, and she never regretted giving up that responsibility even once. In fact, she was thinking about why she didn't do it early. If she had done it earlier, she wouldn't have needed to get so tired. The truth is this: hosting major holidays when you're 80 is not a gift to your family. They think of it as their right. It's a burden on you that nobody appreciates until you stop. Stopping doesn't make you selfish. It makes you honest. So if you want to do it, don't hesitate at all. The situation turns out better than you think. Second truth: I stopped attending every family event. Barbara had 3 children and 7 grandchildren. This meant a birthday party every few weeks. Add graduations, soccer games, dance performances, baby showers, engagement parties. And suddenly, Barbara's calendar was fuller in her 80s than in her 40s. She was rushing to all the events that she couldn't attend young and couldn't possibly catch up with. And here's the thing: people expected her to be there. It was normal for them to want them. Yes, but Barbara didn't have the energy to catch up with all of these. If Grandma didn't come, hurt feelings, passive-aggressive comments, and accusatory looks. Doing this was easy for, oh, Grandma couldn't make it. I guess she doesn't care. After George died, driving became harder. Barbara's night vision was not good at all. And at that age, it was really very difficult to give all her attention. Phoenix traffic stressed her out. She didn't want to attract people in that chaos. Some of these events were 45 minutes away. Just think that it took 45 minutes on the road. And to be honest, sitting through a 3-hour volleyball tournament or a baby shower where she knew no one except the host, it was impossible to endure all of them under those conditions. And it was very tiring. So Barbara set a rule: she would attend events that were truly important to her and politely decline the rest. Doing this was not to get completely away from family members. It was to create time and space for her. High school graduations? Yes. College graduations? Absolutely. Weddings? Of course. All of these were important events. But 8-year-old Timmy's 4th birthday party at a noisy trampoline park? Little League games in 110-degree Arizona heat? Not anymore. Gender reveal parties for someone she barely knew? Absolutely not. All of these were things that could happen without Barbara. After all, they were simple events. Events where no one would feel emotionally hurt about her in case of her absence. Her family was shocked. But you always come to everything, they said. And Barbara replied, I'm 80 years old. I've earned the right to be selective. They needed to understand this too. After all, she no longer had the time and strength to catch up with all of them. What Barbara realized was that her presence at every event was not about love. It had become an obligation. She hadn't chosen this situation, but circumstances had become this way. It came from guilt, not from joy. And when you attend events out of guilt, you're not really there anyway. You're only there because you have to be there. You're resentful, tired, and counting the moments until you can leave. Just think about what an exhausting situation this is. Now Barbara attends what's important. She moves quite comfortably about being selective. She connects to events she can't attend via FaceTime. She sends cards and gifts, but she doesn't apologize for protecting her time and energy. After all, she explained this situation to the whole family. She wasn't doing anything to feel guilty, and family members who truly love her understand. Those who don't, this is not her problem, it's theirs, because Barbara has already made her choice. Third truth: I stopped babysitting on demand. For years, Barbara was the free, on-call babysitter. Her children would call, Mom, can you watch the kids Friday night? We have dinner planned. Mom, can you pick up Emma from school? I'm stuck at work. Mom, we need someone to watch the kids this week. Can you do it? And Barbara would always say yes, because That's what grandmothers do, right? They help. They're available. They're grateful to spend time with their grandchildren. But after George died, the demands increased. Her children assumed that since she was alone now, she had nothing but time. Her children would drop them off with barely any notice. They would ask for babysitting for entire weekends. One daughter even suggested that Barbara could watch her children 2 days a week. Thus, they could save on daycare costs. Barbara loved her grandchildren, but she was 78, then 79, then 80 years old. Keeping up with young children was exhausting. She didn't have the energy she used to have, and frankly, there were things she wanted to do with her time. Book club, watercolor painting class, morning walks, quiet afternoons. So Barbara set boundaries. She told her children, "I'm happy to babysit occasionally, with advance notice, for special occasions, but I'm no longer an on-call babysitter. I love the grandchildren, but I also need time for myself." Her children were hurt. One son said, "I thought you'd want to spend time with your grandchildren." Barbara replied, "I do, but on my terms, not yours." What shocked Barbara was how entitled her children had become to her time. They had built their lives assuming she would always be available. They had made career and social plans dependent on free grandma labor, and when she set boundaries, they acted as if she were being cruel. But Barbara stood firm. She started saying no. She offered alternatives. "I can't this weekend, but how about next Tuesday afternoon?" She suggested they hire a babysitter or ask the other grandparents. And slowly, her children adjusted. Now Barbara sees her grandchildren on her own schedule. She takes one grandchild at a time for special outings. When she has energy, she hosts them for tea parties and art projects. But she's no longer the free daycare, and her relationship with her grandchildren is actually better now, because when they're together, she's not tired and resentful. She's present and joyful. If you're watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please write Truth 3 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any video. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire. Now, let's move forward. Fourth truth. I stopped keeping up with church and social clubs. Barbara had been active in her church for 40 years. Sunday services, Wednesday Bible study, Thursday morning women's group, banquets, fundraising campaigns, volunteer committee. He was also in a garden club, a book club, and a neighborhood social. When George was alive, they would do these things together. It was their social life. But after he died, coming alone felt different. People treated her with pity. Conversations revolved around her loss. And frankly, most of these activities had become obligations rather than joy. For example, the women's group had turned into a complaint session about adult children and health problems. The garden club had become competitive and cliquish. The church committees were full of drama and politics. At 78, after George's death, Barbara started evaluating, do I really want to do this? Or am I doing it out of habit and fear of disappointing people? She realized that most of these commitments were not filling her, but consuming. So she started pulling back. She stopped going to Wednesday Bible study. She left 2 committees at church. She quit the garden club entirely. The reactions were mixed. Some people understood. Others made passive-aggressive comments. "Oh, we haven't seen Barbara in a while. I guess she's too busy for us now." A woman from the church even called to say she was worried that Barbara was isolating herself and falling into depression. But Barbara wasn't isolating. It was intentional. She still went to Sunday services when she wanted to. She continued the book club because she genuinely enjoyed it. She found a new watercolor class at the senior center that brought her joy. She joined a widow support group where there were people who truly understood what she was going through. What Barbara learned was that not all social activities are good social activity. Being busy is not the same as being fulfilled. At 80, she didn't have energy to spend on obligations that made her unhappy. Now, Barbara's social calendar is smaller, but rich. She spends time with people who genuinely care about her, doing things she truly enjoys, and she has never felt less lonely. Fifth truth. I stopped sending cards and gifts for every occasion. This seems small, but it was huge for Barbara. For decades, she had kept a calendar of every family birthday, anniversary, graduation, and holiday. She would send cards. She would buy gifts. She would remember everyone, and nobody reciprocated. Her own birthday, if she was lucky, would come and go with maybe a phone call from her children. When George died, she received sympathy cards, but after that, silence. Her grandchildren never sent her anything. Her children didn't remember Mother's Day unless Facebook reminded them. Barbara was spending hundreds of dollars a year on cards and gifts. She was spending hours shopping, wrapping, mailing, and for what? Most people barely even said thank you. So at 79, Barbara stopped. She sent birthday cards to her children and grandchildren, but that was it. No more gifts for every niece, cousin, and in-law. No more elaborate Christmas presents. No more thinking of you cards for every occasion. The reaction? Silent. At first, nobody even noticed. Then at Christmas, a few people commented, "Oh, no gift from Grandma this year?" One grandchild even asked, "Did you forget my birthday?" Barbara calmly said, "No, sweetheart, I didn't forget. I just decided not to give gifts anymore." What Barbara realized was that gift giving had become transactional and one-sided. She was trying to buy affection and attention. And when she stopped, it revealed how little effort others were putting into their relationship with them. Barbara saves her money. She donates to charities she cares about. She spends on herself, massage, a nice dinner, a weekend trip. And if people are upset that she's no longer sending gifts, that says more about them than it does about her. 6. Truth. I stopped answering my phone immediately. Barbara's phone used to control her life. It would ring, and she would drop everything to answer, as if her whole life was tied to this phone. Text messages demanded immediate response. Her children expected her to be available 24/7. Even though their wanting this was very absurd, Barbara did it. "Mom, can you find that recipe? Mom, I need advice about something. Mom, can you check if you still have that old photo?" At all hours, early in the morning, late at night, during her favorite TV show, she was answering the phone without any free time. The phone wouldn't leave her hand. This situation had become unbearable. After George died, the calls increased. She had almost no private time. Her children constantly checked in, but most of the time, it felt more like checking up on her. Barbara was not at all happy with this course of things. They wanted updates about her day, her plans, her health. It felt intrusive. She was no longer comfortable. So Barbara set a new rule. She would check her phone twice a day, morning and evening. She would return calls when it was convenient for her. She turned off all notifications. Doing this had truly relieved. Now, she felt that she had time for herself. Her children panicked. "Mom, why aren't you answering? Are you okay?" Barbara explained, "I'm fine. I'm just no longer attached to my phone. If it's a real emergency, call 911. Otherwise, I'll get back to you when I can." It took weeks for her family to adjust, but they did. Instead of calling repeatedly, they learned to leave voice messages. They stopped expecting immediate responses to every text. For every call or message they couldn't reach her for, they had now decided to call and message for more important and necessary things. What about Barbara? She felt liberated. She was no longer at everyone's beck and call. She could enjoy a quiet morning without interruptions. She could watch a movie without her phone vibrating. Instead of constantly managing others' demands, she was present in her own life. Having accomplished this was an incredible relief, and she was enjoying it. 7th truth. I stopped apologizing for saying no. This was the biggest, most transformative change. Throughout her life, Barbara had been conditioned to say yes, to be helpful, to be accommodating, to put everyone else first. And when she said no, she would apologize excessively. "I'm so sorry. I just can't. I wish I could, but I feel terrible saying this." But after George died, Barbara started saying no more often. But she was still apologizing, until one day her therapist asked, "Why are you apologizing for having boundaries?" Barbara didn't have a good answer, so she stopped. When someone asked her to do something she didn't want to do, she simply said, "No, that doesn't work for me." No apology, no lengthy explanation, just no. The first few times were terrifying. People were shocked. Some pushed back. "Why not?" they demanded. And Barbara learned to say, "Because I choose not to." What Barbara discovered was that apologizing for saying no gave people permission to argue, guilt trip, and push until she gave in. But when she said no confidently, without apology, most people accepted it and moved on. Not everyone liked them. Some family members claimed she had become difficult or cold. Those who truly respected her adjusted. What about Barbara? She felt power for the first time in her 80 years. She was living honestly. She wasn't pretending to want things she didn't want. She wasn't sacrificing her well-being to avoid disappointing others. She was simply being honest about her limits. Final thought. Barbara's transformation didn't happen overnight. It required courage, therapy, and the willingness to disappoint people who had taken her for granted. But 3 years after George died, at 80 years old, Barbara is happier, healthier, and more at peace than she has been for decades. She stopped hosting exhausting dinners. She stopped attending every event. She stopped being free child. She stopped draining social obligations. She stopped one-sided gift giving. She stopped being enslaved to her phone. And she stopped apologizing for having bound. None of these decisions made her a bad grandmother, a bad friend, or a bad person. They made her a woman who finally prioritized herself. If you're over 70 and still trying to be everything for everyone, ask yourself, what am I doing out of love? And what am I doing out of guilt? What would I stop doing if I weren't afraid of disappointing people? Your time is valuable. Your energy is limited. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion. Saying no is not selfishness. It's self-preservation. And those who truly love you will understand. Thank you for watching Barbara's story. Write as a comment below which truth resonated most with you, or what you're ready to stop doing. If this video gave you permission to set boundaries, please like, subscribe, and share with seniors who need this message. Your life is yours to live. Don't spend your 80s trying to make everyone else happy. Spend them finally making yourself happy.